Hey everybody, this is Jason, Zombie Collector, and I'm with Jimmy Crack Corner, I don't care. And so today we are doing a response video for Mark from Kentucky. Mark from Kentucky has asked the YouTube community their top 10 baseball movies. Now, the one thing I wanted to say real quick about Mark's channel that I love is that he does a lot of, for $100, like on a budget, graded cards and rookie cards and just like significant cards. And that's actually how I found him. I probably found him like 8-9 months ago. Kind of when I first started, he was one of the first ones I kind of stumbled upon. I was born in Kentucky, lived in southern Indiana my whole life, real close. So I kind of felt a kinship with Mark. And then he's a big guy in the rookie cards, 70s and 80s. And things of that sort, and he likes to collect on a budget. I definitely can relate to that, and so I just love his channel for that very reason. And so I thought I was subscribed to his channel, and I just found that I was not, which I cannot believe I wasn't, because I've been watching his videos off and on for months now. But I have fixed that. I'm now a subscriber. I even ding the bell,
notifications,
tap the bell for notifications. Yes. And so now that's even official. So with that being said, me and Jimmy here are going to go through my probably top 10 favorite.
I love those movies.
Oh, you do?
It's not like Fever Pitch because I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, well, you haven't seen some of these movies either because you're not of age. But all right, so he already kind of let the cat out of the bag on one. Thanks. Oh. So here's the first one. If you'd like to hand it to me.
Forget about that.
Pretend it never happened.
Yeah. First off, we have the Perfect Game.
All right, can you show the movie, like the entire movie, like right there? All right, The Perfect Game, guys. This is a movie that like no one talks about. It's a very inspirational movie. It's about, I believe, the Mexico Little League team from the 1950s. They get I believe I don't know the actual baseball player, but he played the Major League Baseball, and then after his career was over, he went back to Mexico, Monterrey, Mexico, I believe, and there's like this whole ragtag group of kids who want to learn and play baseball at the highest level, and he ended up coaching their team to the Little League World Series. And it talks a lot about their journey from Monterrey, Mexico to the Little League World Series. It's a really good movie. Not very many people talk about it, so I like to throw that out there for people. That's my number 10. Number 9?
Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year. Thank you, Jimmy. I'm a kid of the 80s and 90s, so Rookie of the Year was a popular movie for me. I loved it growing up. Of the little boy who ends up becoming a part of the Chicago Cubs baseball team back when the Cubs were awful, which is pretty much all the time until recently. This was directed by Daniel Stern, which is one of the actors in Home Alone. He played, I forgot the one who was like, we're the slippery bandits or whatever. I can't remember his name, but he is the taller one. He's not the Joe Pesci character. So there you go. He's not Joe Pesci. So anyways, this is a good movie, and it also stars a young Thomas N. Nichols, who later on goes into making the movie American Pie. But I don't think I need to talk too much about it. It also has Gary Busey in it. Gary Busey, the Buse, he's in it. But it's a lot of great, fun baseball from the, I believe, was it late 80s, early 90s? I'm not for sure the exact year. But I know it was 1993, so exactly perfect. So there's that one. Rookie of the Year. Number...
We have Fever Pitch, yeah.
Fever Pitch. Number 8. A lot of times people I don't think about this movie as a baseball movie because it's a love story wrapped inside of a baseball movie, or it's a baseball movie wrapped inside of a love story. Which one is it? But I love this movie, guys. It is a true love letter to the Red Sox and also just baseball fandom in general. You mean there are people that are just like Jimmy Fallon in real life who live and die by their team, and how it pretty much corrupts and interrupts everything in their lives. And it's just kind of a very interesting take on like being a complete and total fan of a team to the point where everything is in jeopardy, literally, because of your passion for the game.
Then we have Little League, Big League.
Which one?
Little Big League.
Little Big League. Another great movie from the early 90s, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And this is the little boy ends up becoming the manager of the Minnesota Twins. And pretty much it's all about the shenanigans that go on from that. It's a great movie. A lot of great baseball is happening in this movie. There's a couple great actors in the movie, actually, that people don't really talk about. One being, John Ashton is one, and Ashley Crowe. Both Ashley Crowe was in Heroes. I love her in that TV show. But this is a great 90s movie of, just kids shenanigans. And again, it's near and dear to my heart for the pure fact that it came out during the time I was about this boy's age. 13-year-old kid or whatnot. So it's pretty cool. Next up,
we have 8 Men Out.
8 Men Out. 8 Men Out. This one doesn't really need to be discussed too much. We all know this is about the Black Sox scandal, about Shoeless Joe Jackson and all the men, the 8 men that got caught up in.
Shoeless Joe Jackson. Spoiler for the first one.
Yeah, Luca just recently watched one here coming up about Shoeless Joe Jackson. You all probably know what we're alluding to. I'm sorry, Jimmy just watched it. I know, I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting my son's name. But anyways, we all know this is about the Black Sox scandal where they threw the World Series and the fallout from that, and like how it all came about. It's a great movie with Charlie Sheen and John Cusack. And I'm trying to think of who else is in this movie. Christopher Lloyd, I forgot about him. And then, of course, D.B. Sweeney's greatness as well. So anyways, 8 Men Out. All right, next up.
Soul of the Game.
Soul of the Game. Another movie that a lot of people do not talk about very much, but is a great movie that was released by HBO. It's an HBO film. But it's about the Negro Leagues. This movie in particular is about Satchel Paige, Jackie Robinson, and Josh Gibson, and their stories are intertwined throughout this movie. And it is a fantastic movie. It's a little bit before, we all learned about the Jackie Robinson, from 42, but this is kind of predecessor to that, about them going through in the Negro Leagues and what they went through as a team with the Negro Leagues. And just, the ins and outs of what that looks like. For modern day, baseball fans, I think it's kind of hard to even believe that some of this stuff was going on. But it was definitely going on, and it's a great reminder of how far we've come, but also, how we should always keep this as a part of baseball history so we can, learn from it, and exactly, do not repeat it.
Do not repeat history.
Yeah, you don't want to repeat.
Good.
Yeah, good history is okay. Negative history, we do not ever want to repeat.
That you always liked from I forget what you told me in the car when we were driving to school. You were like, you liked the history quote said by someone. Oh,
the quote goes, "Those who do not learn from their history are doomed to repeat it." So if you do not learn from your history, you're doomed to repeat it. So it's very important to know history so you don't repeat the same mistakes, right? Major League, again, another movie that doesn't need much introduction. You have Willie Mays Hayes, and you have The Wild Thing. You have what's the Jumbo? Was it Oh man, what is the little voodoo doll guy's name? I forgot. Oh man, I forgot. Anyways, it's a great movie. One of the best baseball comedies ever. Bob Uecker, fantastic in this. Rene Russo's in here. Corbin Burnson, Tom Berenger. It's a great film. Another great 90s movie. Definitely a little bit older for most people as far as older crowd. I mean, your kids really should be watching this one, but it's a great movie.
Now, next up we have A League of Their Own.
A League of Their Own. A League of Their Own, filmed predominantly here in Indiana, and I actually have a little bit of history with this. My family in Evansville, Indiana, actually did all the exteriors for the baseball fields. They own a construction company, and they were contacted by the filmmakers of this to have them do all the rebuilding of the baseball fields and all the houses and exteriors. They got them to do all the exterior scenes.
Was it Lark or Kyle?
No, this is my actual family growing up in Evansville. Yeah. And so when they filmed in Evansville, they also told us a lot of stories about how a lot of the girls here, Madonna, of course, Gina Davis, Rosie O'Donnell, how they pretty much just went into actual people's houses and said, hey, we want to live close to where we're going to be filming, so can we just rent your house for a couple weeks or a couple months? People just like move out of their own house so Gina Davis can live there for a month. They just move in with family or friends or whatever, but they paid them big money so they could live in their houses, and they didn't want to like live in a hotel or something, so they lived in a house near the fields where they were filming. So this is about, of course, the female baseball league that came about during the World War II days. Again, not much I can talk about that hasn't been said about this movie. Tom Hanks is fantastic, awesome. The acting in this movie is fantastic, and it talks again, just like Soul of the Game, a little bit about the history of baseball that a lot of people sometimes forget or just overlook, and it's very important that we, again, learn from our history and just enjoy movies like this.
Next up, we have one that really doesn't need any description for it.
Yes.
Sandlot.
Can you give us one of the quotes from the movie, Luca? I'm sorry, Jimmy.
Me, Smalls.
You're killing me, Smalls. Again, guys, this movie's been getting a lot of press recently because the Baseball Tops Archives had to release a whole new set. I think it's like in the 25th anniversary. We've got a couple of those cards. I think they're in here somewhere, actually. But So anyways, again, this is a movie that doesn't, again, need much introduction. It's a childhood favorite of mine, and it should be one of your favorites as well. And last but definitely not least,
Field of Dreams. The one with Shoeless Joe.
Shoeless Joe Jackson. Again, this is perfect that Mark did this 10 top movies, because I just introduced this movie today, literally to my son an hour ago.
Hour.
Yeah, maybe within the last hour. First time I ever let him watch this movie. We sat down and watched it together. And what do you think about it? Give us your opinion.
It was funny.
It was funny. Was there any particular funny moments?
He ended up crying in the movie.
I ended up crying. I'm not even gonna lie.
You're lying to me. You're like, oh, I wasn't.
I was saying that he punched me or spit on me or something and made me get a little bit emotional. But yes, this is the kind of movie.
I don't get emotional in movies.
You don't. You're a stone cold, no emotion kind of dude, which is fine. But yeah, it was awesome to have this experience with my son. I wouldn't change it or exchange it for the world. It was amazing. And it's just the fact that he was really into it. He actually watched the entire 1.5 hour movie without asking, when is it over? This is boring, or can I play Fortnite? He actually was so engaged in the film. That says a lot to me, that he enjoyed the entire time of the film, and this made me feel so good. So this is by far my top movie. I watched it with my dad when I was his age. Now I got to introduce it to him. So this was like the perfect time for this response video. So again, guys, that was my top 10 movies for Mark from Kentucky's 1,000 subscriber giveaway. And definitely check him out. Thank you for your time and watching this video with myself and Jimmy. Until next time, peace, love, and...
not hair grease.
Yeah, hair grease.
No, I'm saying something else. Peace, love, and hair dye.
And hair dye. All right, bye.